Alright. Very nice. Fight. Oh, nearly.
Ah, shit. I fucked it up.
Oh. Okay, so was there any points in that fight where you kind of thought to yourself, like, I've fucked up?
So a few times when because I am trying something fairly new because I just learned to do blue upper. It's been a very difficult input for me.
Okay.
So like the few times where I did get the necessary grab for it, I didn't process that well. The other point is I don't know enough right now to get out of the pressure once you start it. And it's also kind of hard for me to, like, everybody tells me Jack has a good backdash, which is, I know it's true, but I don't feel like I use it well, and I just corner myself.
Okay. So there's a little bit of movement going on in there, there's a little bit of maybe, do you feel as though it's character-specific pressure, or do you feel like it's just pressure overall?
I guess if I had to answer that, yeah, I messed up. If I had to answer that, I feel it's more. I guess it's more both. Like for me, and it's mostly because Jack's the only character I know. Is that like a lot of my ways of trying to maneuver or get movement doesn't work with him, so I get punished for it. But I guess it's more of both. Because
Okay.
I guess it's kind of how the game is. Like it's just a lot of like when it is whoever's turn it is, and I know that's an ambiguous statement. Like obviously everyone has choices on what they can do.
Yeah.
With Jack, I feel like he has less of that, and I know that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not personally very well informed on what Jack can and can't do, but I am aware that is true.
And I don't know. I get a lot of like back and forth when I talk with people about it, because of course when I'm in the Jack Discord, I know I'm gonna hear stuff about Jack and how good he is.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
But like from what I understand, the little bit I do know about Jack, and I say that because I started playing Jack in this game, is that it's his keep away that's good. It's his poking opportunity. It's his ability to keep. Yeah. So I actually don't like playing that way. I prefer infighting. I prefer going in. I prefer getting that aggression, and I do that with Jack. But it doesn't always work. It doesn't usually work out very well. Because if we're both like right here, I'm going to lose most of what's happening. Or rather, I have to hold it and hope for the best. As opposed to, if I'm here, I have a significant better advantage at doing what I need to do. The problem is I don't actually like this range at all.
Yes. Okay.
So I think it's column A and column B. I think it's more on what I'm looking for in a character versus what the character has strengths in. And what I may be forcing or attempting to say, well, I actually want to play this character this way. I want to go in and get stuff done. And I'm like, well, there's a time and a place for that, and I think Jack has less of those times and places, which is okay. That's not a blaming of the character. I think it's just more on me. On that, when it comes to that, I guess. If that wasn't too much of a ramble.
No, not at all. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. That was very much how I felt with when I had a brief stint on Jin. I feel like I loved the character and I really liked playing him, but my personal playstyle just was doing nothing. He was doing me no favors.
Which character? I'm sorry.
Jin.
Oh really? I've been fighting Jin for the last like 3 days. That's all I've been seeing.
He's and I know everyone's like, oh, he's so easy, and it's like, oh, like you don't even have to try, but I would massively disagree with that. He's powerful, but I definitely know how bad it feels when your character choice doesn't match up with your personal playstyle. And
to continue with that though, maybe it's just I don't know enough about Jack, because again, I go into the Jack Discord and people have been playing Jack for years, so I get that obviously iterations of Jack have been different. Of course, this is more. I actually went to Jack because my main in 7, which was Gigas, was taken away, and he got some of his stuff. So I'm like, well, fuck it, let me try. I like stances, why not? And maybe I just.
I remember, yeah.
And maybe I just need more time with Jack to have a better understanding of what I'm looking for. But I also don't know. I think I'm I know I'm overthinking it to some degree. It just, I also don't like feeling like I don't want sunken cost fallacy here where I'm like, I'm spending all this time with the character. I'm learning more about them. And it's like, the more I learn, sometimes the less I feel able of what I'm doing, because I'm like, well, damn, I know all of this, but really, the game plan should just be range here, get pokes, keep you out, and that's it. I don't know if he's as multi-dimensional as I'm trying to make him be, or...
Yeah. Then again, it's not impossible to have a crazy playstyle that doesn't typically fit the character, but sometimes it can be a benefit because people expect you to play one way and you're playing a completely foreign way to what they expect.
Yeah, which is actually what I like to do anyway. I actually like using more of Jack's moveset, and that's just a really basic way of saying, haha, funny move sometimes. Which of course in this game will definitely get you, you know, which is fun. Ah, I did it wrong. It's okay. Oh shit. So I don't know, like, I guess also part of it is, I don't know, I'm not really good at comparing one Tekken to another. I do like the aggression in this game as opposed to the options to be more aggressive in this game than Tekken 7 is. Not that there was anything wrong with Tekken 7.
Yeah.
But
I thought that was a low. That caught me.
That's one of the issues a lot of people have when they start fighting Jack. It's like, well, when he does his arm thing, it looks like he's standing up, but what is it? What is it? What is the actual move that he's doing? Which is funny because that's how I feel about fighting Zafina. I'm like, everything's a low. Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, it's not bad. Just wall.
Frames on that really fast.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nah, block that. So I think in your case it might be because you're obviously a very, very good player. So I think it's just more so than, you know, your spacing's on point, you know the moves, you're putting the time into learning the character. From the way that you speak about him, you like this character. I think maybe it's just a case of you have expectations of, I know we all do, you have expectations of yourself and what you should be fighting like when, you know, maybe you're not quite there yet in certain terms of certain things, but there are other things that you should be looking at that you should be very proud of.
Well, first, I appreciate you taking the time to say that because it's kind of felt a lot with this journey. It's kind of just felt like I haven't really felt like that way, and that's a different conversation, or maybe part of this, maybe more of this conversation eventually, where it's just kind of felt like a really, really tough trip. Hasn't really felt like a lot of progress, and I know that's not inherently true, because of course when this game first came out, I couldn't do any of this.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's very hard to see the progress that you make when you're so close to yourself, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see the forest for the trees, basically, because you're so caught up in all the minutiae and all that kind of stuff, and the tiny little mistakes that, you know, if you were to watch a replay of yourself from years ago, or from when the game first released or anything like that, then it'll be night and day compared to what you are now. The 10 frame heat smash.
Yes, it's something I'm trying to get better with, because I actually, in the beginning, how do I word this? In the beginning, I actually didn't like popping heat smash much at all. I'm like, I'll save it, and the problem in this game is, why would you save it? Just use it. Just never go around without using it.
That is true. It's very useful. Little bit of range to tribute.
Sorry. It's more of an on my part.
No, you're fine. I think there's always going to be something between us because it's just distance, purely just distance. Yeah, I think for the most part, there's nothing wrong with your gameplay. there's nothing wrong with your gameplay whatsoever. Like you built up a good set of fundies and you know the moves. I think it's more just Did you mention that Tekken 8's your first Tekken or?
My first Tekken to take seriously was 7th. And I didn't even start until probably mid 7th.
Oh yeah, because you mentioned that you were a bigger fan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like your gameplay is there. It's more just a case of Sorry, I'm done.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily a case of your gameplay not being there. It's more just a case of that you are maybe struggling with the lack of visible results, even though they are there. And I should probably just dive that.
Final round.
And just kind of expectations of yourself on the character and such. And it's always going to be hard as well, like, you know, if you had your main taken away from you. Yes, Jack is quite similar in some ways, but at the same time it's...
Oh, it's definitely a night and day difference, which is okay. I think he's much more fleshed out than Gigas was anyway. So, I mean, it's good on the character, good on the situation.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I shouldn't have pressed after that. More than likely, because this is mostly who I've played since I've started, it's in my best interest, probably, to just play a few more characters in the cast that have characteristics that do interest me. Because normally I go for characters that have good movement options or parries or stances. Yes, I do like stances, and this game seems to want to put characters with stances all the time.
Yeah.
But a character that I think might be able to give me more of the flow I'm looking for, and then come back afterwards and be like, okay, what did I gain from that experience? Or how is my Jack feeling now that I put, you know, time into a character that, you know, isn't going to be at a range like right here where I might be blocking more, and I'm like, well, maybe I get to, you know, it's my turn on the Xbox now, Mom. Let me start pressing more buttons on something. So
yeah, I feel that is something that will really, really help. I went through exactly the same thing. I played so much Shoyu, and I hit a big wall where I didn't feel like I was making any progress. I didn't feel like I was doing anything right. I was just flow charting the whole time and then wondering why it wasn't working in the higher ranks, like as I corrected the ladder. And swapping out to, and now I tried Jin, and now I'm trying Lydia, and I think like every single time that I've done that, I go back to Shoyu, and after the initial kind of readjustment period, where you're, you know, if you haven't played them in a while, it really, really gives you not only a good sense of the matchup of the character that you've just played, but also a sense of like, oh, there are things about this other character that even though the moves aren't the same, nice radar, even though the moves aren't the same, and the techniques aren't necessarily the same, the skills that you build up can transfer into different skills that you never would have thought they would on other characters. There are the patience that I learned from playing Jin and Lydia, the more defensive play. Like by this point in the match, I'd have already pressed 1 million buttons on Shoyu, just trying to like.
Yeah, that's the normal, but that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just, you know, whereas now when I go back to Shoyu, I'm a much more patient Shoyu player because of the other characters that I played. And I think that might benefit you on Jack. Maybe even, you know, the characters that you think have got nothing in common with it and aren't going to help you at all. If there's another character you think looks cool, just go for them. Because you never know what you're going to learn that you can apply to your Jack repertoire. So, aside from the, you know, the existential shit that we've been talking about, is there anything apart from you mentioned that you're having trouble with getting out of pressure?
Yeah, like I guess, and I know that's partially part of what what Tekken 8 is this is what the developers are looking for is aggression, which is fine. Yeah, I definitely feel like I have a lot of trouble getting out of pressure. Like even right now with what you're doing, I'm not going to say I know enough about Lydia to understand the stances. And it's not always easy for me to categorize in my brain like, oh, she did this stance. Well, now it's going to be a low. Now it's going to be a mid. I'm kind of just it's partial guessing and partial just. Well, I hope that if I did guess right, can I then take my turn back from it? And again, I'm kind of blaming Jack for this, and it's not the right answer. Is once you start doing what you're doing here, I don't feel like he has a response to it well.
Okay.
I know that there's like, maybe I should be doing more power armor moves instead of get that off of you, or down back one more, and maybe that's kind of how I have to look at it. Is what can't I do? It's what can I do with what's happening in front of me?
Yeah. Oh, propaganda. Yeah. I feel like from the standpoint of a Jack, I'm not entirely sure what tools he has to get people off him, etc. But I've definitely felt that pressure before. Especially when I was, like I said, when I started out and I was super aggressive. I feel like it was. I'd just panic and I'd press, or like I wouldn't let the whole string come out, and I'd just be like. I'd like relentlessly spring kick when getting up and just trying to anything to try and get my turn back.
Yes.
When really, like, all I needed to do was just stay calm and try and watch what they do, because like you're not getting away from them because you're in block stun. So just to watch what they're doing and see if I can, piece out like, oh, was that a low? Should I block that? Sometimes it goes horribly wrong, but. It pays to think like, even if I lose the interaction, was it still useful for me to learn that knowledge? Like I lost the match, it doesn't matter. Like because now I know that specific thing, just by standing back and watching, like, I took the L, but even though I took the L, it's okay because I was patient and I was observant, and that's a good skill to know. That's a good skill to have.
That is what I am hoping let me say it differently. That is what I'm looking to transfer when I do play other characters, because, with playing Jack, I've had to play more of a observant. I don't know how to word this. I feel like I'm putting the rest of the cast down. Like, I've had to play a more observant Tekken playing Jack. Like,
yeah. Say, old habits die hard. There's that sprint kick coming in again. It's I think it's, like I said, one of the things that I'm really struggling with right now is instead of, if I expect a low, instead of being safe and down back, I will always try and do the low parry, partly for style points and also partly because, like, I can get more off it usually.
Yes.
But I need to start, like, that's my default right now if I expect a low, is to down forward. And that should be the other way around. It should be down back. And then when I'm positive I can low parry it, that's when I should be using that.
I mean, I do understand that because I actually prefer going for a riskier option. Like, you've probably seen me do this. I can't do it yet. But no, I don't. That's fine. And it's not something Jacks do as often. That gamma health or the armor, because I prefer playing in a more risky. I prefer playing in a more risky way if I can get the benefit of it. The what is it? Cost reward? What do you call it? For it isn't worth it.
Yeah.
But I feel good. I like it. Makes me feel good when I get that sort of thing. So I'm actually trying to down forward a lot of your stuff anyway, and I'm getting hit for it. That's funny. Getting hit for it because of it, because I do prefer that option, even though it's not as safe.
Yeah. We share that. That's something that's really ingrained in my muscle memory, and I need to try and... Like, I like being risky, but I feel like that's one of those where, like, the risk reward just isn't there for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that move always gets me. So that's a mid, right?
This? That's a low.
Yes.
No, it's a low. Block low.
Oh, it's a low?
Yeah, block low.
Ah.
It's punishable, and that's also a low, and I'm gonna die for it. So that's why I actually usually gravitate towards characters like Raven or Steve. Like, they have movement, they have speed, they have counters, they have... And it's not always worth to use it, of course. But that... I don't know, I guess, like, playing my own mini game sometimes, like, oh, I'm gonna style on you by doing a movement option, as opposed to, well, I could have just stayed like this.
Yeah.
But, like, when I gamma hell and I get that armor and I get that hit, it's not worth it, usually. But I like the feel of what happens when it happens.
Yeah, the dopamine hit.
You're gonna hit me before I hit you.
The best mix-up is no mix-up.
No, it's just...
So aside from the pressure thing, is there anything... you did mention a few things, but I've completely...
I mean, I'm not... which is okay. No, I mean, I did mention a few things, but I think the things I mentioned all kind of combine to, you know, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're doing when you're under pressure? Which sometimes I feel Jack doesn't have many tools to deal with. Again, not blaming the character. Respecting the fact that the character has certain things that can and can't be done. The fact that I'm still fairly new and I'm not giving myself the, kindness through the growth, through the fact that this is not an easy game. Fighting games are not easy, and Tekken 8 is definitely not an easy game as well. So, I'm kind of complaining, with some merits, and others...
It's absolutely valid to complain, like absolutely valid. Because hopefully through the complaining you can then understand what's causing the complaint, and then you can find a way around it. It's, you know, it's not a bad thing to be frustrated with the game or to feel like you're not getting anywhere with it, because, you know, then you can try and remedy it, which is great.
I was hoping to get you press a button. Like, that sort of movement with Jack, that gets you killed. But I find it funny if I can get you to whiff. If I can get you to whiff for it, so it's like, is it worth it? The results may vary.
Yeah.
Because I can just place, I don't know, I guess they call it small Tekken with Jack and just be fine. Although, you've got my rhythm down on that, so that's on me. Ah, should have stayed at my room.
Round 3. Fight.
That came out quick.
Yes. So I gotta be mindful of when I do.
Round 4. Fight.
Oh shit. Damn it.
It's enough damage.
Final round. Fight.
Nice. Nice job. Oh, that's not what I meant to press.
You win.
Part of it, thinking on it now that I get the opportunity to talk with somebody who is, by the way, you're great. Like talking with you is and just working a few things out with you has been really nice.
I'm glad.
Is the fact that I don't give myself the kindness of the growth, the credit of what I've already done, and the fact that I continue to beat. That's not what I meant to do. And I don't like. I'm expecting at this point to be like, well, I should understand enough of what you're doing to counter it, and then I beat myself up over the fact that I didn't. Oh. He's already counted me. He's already counted me before. I've been down back 1, 2 or 3 times. He's punishing me. He shouldn't be able to. Why am I not mixing? And I'm being very accusatory towards myself as it happens.
Yeah. It's something that I used to struggle with a lot. I still do from time to time. Like it's, I think it's hard to explain, but it's you don't want to be mean to yourself. You know that it's. You wouldn't say those things to a friend. Like you wouldn't go into a match with a friend and then if you saw them make a mistake that you made, you wouldn't be like, oh, you idiot, you should know better by now. Like you've been playing this character long enough. Like I think it's a lot of negative self-talk, and it's a really hard habit to get out of, especially when it's tied to a vanity item like online rank or something like that. And I think just it comes back a lot to the thing we were speaking about before we hopped in here, which is like, being better or being good it's not a goal. That's an outcome. That's a destination. Like the goals are the things that help you get to that destination. You can't just stand there and say like, oh, that I would like to be better. I would like to be this rank. I would like to be, you know, so and so. It's because there are no actionable things that work towards that being the case. Like, there's no code you can implement that means like, oh, if I do these specific things, that means I can be blue rank. Like, it's more just a case of, okay, so I'm struggling with this. What are the steps that I can take to remedy that and get better with that specific thing? Then once I've done that, I can celebrate that small victory and move on to the next thing. And then gradually it builds up, and before you know it, you are better. You are blue rank, you are good, or whatever you considered you wanted to be. It's all about small little steps, which is difficult because, like we were saying earlier, it's hard to see the change. It's really hard to see the change.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a particular skill, like small obtainable goals. Like originally when I had my vacation from work, I started looking up SMART goals. I know that some people use that as bases for things, and I'm like, I wonder if it can. Well, I say wonder. It should be able to be applicable in a fighting game. Why not? And I started to look them up, and I saw what they were, and I'm like, it was not foreign. It's not like it's my first rodeo in regards, and it's not, you know, we've all gone through processes of learning on certain things. Just stayed. It's this. That's my difficulty is trying to create goals for myself to be able to, one, feel like I am progressing in a way that I can measure, which isn't always able to be done, which is fine. But also, two, like you said, it's not about winning, it's about the progress you make while you're doing what you're doing in the game.
Yeah, and I think fighting games are... There are other games that are similar, but fighting games especially, they're a special breed in the sense of, like, they are best enjoyed by people who enjoy learning rather than enjoy instant gratification. They enjoy the long road. They're in it for the long haul, and that's not everybody automatically, but it's a learnable. You know, it's something that you're able to teach yourself how to enjoy. It's all about giving yourself the positive feedback and the positive reinforcement of, you know, rather than focusing on the, oh, I lost that ranked match, that means I'm shit. It's like, no, not necessarily. It's more a case of, you know, oh, rather than I lost that ranked match, that sucks. You could be like, oh, I managed to punish that one thing that I struggled with that ranked match. That's awesome. Like, well done, me. Like, that's really, really great.
Yeah.
It's, and you know, like, even if they can't hear you, I think what helps a lot with keeping a positive mindset in fighting games is definitely remembering to see your opponent as like just another human being playing a game. Like, it's all too easy when it's the anonymous person on ranked online that is like the big bad stopping you from ranking up. It's really easy to see them as some evil, non-human robot who you can just throw abuse at, like, not necessarily like outwardly, but, you know, see them as a villain, and really, like, they likely have exactly the same, you know, issues and shortcomings and problems and anxieties as everyone else. It's one person has to win and one person has to lose in a fighting game. That's how it always is. That's the one constant. And it's good. Something that I do a lot now is openly compliment my opponent when they do something that is good, rather than, oh, that was, you know, that's a move that hit me and I should have. When I first started fighting games, I did a lot of, like, if someone caught me with a heat smash or you know, anything like that, or, you know, rage art, or if someone caught me with a DI in Street Fighter or something, rather than saying like, oh, that was a nice DI, like that was, you know, that was well thought out, or that was, that caught me at the right time, even if it's not necessarily putting the onus on them as like the instigator of the good thing, even if it was just like a fucking lucky mash, like it doesn't
still,
you can just say, like,
matter.
oh, that hit me at a lucky time, or like, oh, that was jammy, that was, you know, but like put a positive spin on it rather than, oh, that sucks that I got hit by that, or how is that possible, how did that even hit me?
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, like,
that was
nothing can change the fact that it did hit you, so it's best just to compliment them, and subconsciously that brings a positive mindset, you know, rather than, oh, I lost to that person, I'm really mad, and because of I'm mad at myself, I'm mad at them, because, oh, they were just mashing, or they were doing something, they were doing whatever. You know, if you can go through a rank match and just be like, wow, they were really good, like, or like, I want to implement that kind of thing into my gameplay, so like, you just, you know, the positive self-talk and the positive talk of your opponents is way more powerful than I think a lot of people believe it is. Everything else is technical. That was a nice low parry, by the way. Everything else is technical. Literally, like, it's there for us. We have practice mode, we have the lab, we have frame data.
Yeah, everything's here.
Replays. Like, we have forums, we have the FGCB, like, everything that is technical, that is like a solid fact, is there for us. We have the resources and we have the ability to learn the game. The thing that a lot of people need to learn isn't the game, it's how to interact with the game and interact with themselves and others while playing the game. Because that's something that the game doesn't provide, and I feel like that's something that people need to take responsibility for. And you know, I'm saying this is one, it's like, I've not mastered all that shit. Like, well, I still have days where I'm salty as hell, but like, it's
you haven't mastered it, but you're mindful of you're mindful that it's occurring, and it's not, and not that I have to explain, not that I have to tell you this, but mindfulness is a underrated concept that most people haven't really learned about a lot of things in their life, being, you know, introspective and being like, okay, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Good shit. So even though you haven't mastered the fact that you can tell it, you can say it out loud with assertiveness that you are working on it because you notice it to be something that is either detrimental to you when you don't do it, or the fact that it's even happening, because, you know, there are times where, you know, I don't even notice, like, oh, I really put myself in this echo chamber. I didn't even notice it was an echo chamber. I just heard me talking, and there's a forum for me to put it in.
Nope.
No.
Oh, nice duck.
That's
No, you didn't press. It's nice. I thought you were midway through a string on that one. It's something that I will admit is, and I admit this to people because I see it a lot in others. I see myself with this a lot in others. Is there something else in your life that you are like, especially like when you were younger? Is there? I don't know why I pressed that. Is there something else in your life that you were like, especially when you were growing up, that you were just really almost naturally good at, that you were like, just, you felt like you were just talented at it because you were you?
Oh, is that a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
if the question is that, the answer would be music. Writing music, something I used to do a lot when I was younger.
So, me too. So I play the drums.
I'm also a when you say drums, are you talking about drum set, or are we talking about like classic percussion?
Oh, like a drum kit. Like a drum set.
Got it.
But you know, that's so I was ever since a young age, like I was obsessed with drums, and I was naturally kind of like, I don't feel as though I had to try very hard to be good at drums. Like it just kind of came naturally to me. I understood it
Yes.
from a young age, and it came naturally. And I feel like it's something that really clicks with me as a person, which is fantastic. However, the fact that it came so easily to me, and I know that I'm good at it, and you know, not in a egotistical, big-headed way, more of like I am extremely aware that I am talented at this thing, and I didn't have to go through much hardship in order to be talented at it.
Yes.
It's when I hit fighting games, and you know, I'm quite naturally gifted at other games. Fighting games, no, not so much. So when I hit that initial wall of difficulty in fighting games, my brain just blew up. I was like my ego went into overload. It was like I couldn't, subconsciously, I almost like couldn't accept that I wasn't as easily good at fighting games as I was at other things like drums and like other games. And it almost felt like I was, I don't know how to explain it, like my pride was hurt.
Yes.
Because my pride was hurt because I prided myself on being naturally good at stuff, and like, you know, it was more a case when I was younger, it was like, I don't have a reason for being good at drums, I'm just good at them because it's me.
Yes.
Like, and I'm a good drummer. And I took that mindset into fighting games, and it really fucked me up, because I was getting my arse handed to me in pretty much every single match.
Yeah.
And I try and learn things, and I couldn't figure out the buffer inputs and stuff like the buffers in Street Fighter, and it was really stressing me out. And I couldn't figure out how to like create a backdash or anything like that. And I was just like, this is so stupid. Like this should be easy.
Sure. Yeah.
I can't believe that I'm not getting this, and I was angry with myself, and you know, I didn't want to play with anyone because my self-perceived ranking or skill was so much higher than it actually was, and I think I just needed to really humble myself and say, like, it's okay that, you know, this is something you are trying to learn. It's admirable that you are trying to learn it. Like, it's not a bad thing to not be automatically as good at it. And like, exactly the same way as some people have to try for years and years and years to learn to play the drums. Whereas I basically just sat down behind a kit and was good at it. The same goes for fighting games. Like, have you ever played against Jimmy on the server?
Jimmy, is that his tag or?
Yeah, it's like Jimen's something.
I don't think I have.
He is absurdly good. He got like really high in Evo. He's an amazing fighting game player. He's like naturally gifted just at games. Like he's a god gamer. And it's, you know, but exactly the same way that Jimmy is extremely good at fighting games, just kind of without much effort put in. Like within the first week of a game launching, he's already a god at it. You know, just in the same vein as that, Jimmy would sit behind a drum kit and be like, "Yo, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't know what to do on this." And I think it was just, so if you can. The point I'm trying to reach is, I'm very rambly. I do apologise.
That's okay. I enjoy it.
Old ADHD. It's a case of, you know, if there's any trace of that kind of mindset, even if it's not intentional. It's in your best interest to kill it. Just kill it dead. It's humble yourself, kill the ego, and just kind of let go of the perceived notion of skill that you have for yourself and the expectations you have for yourself. And, you know, don't ever, like I said before, nice low power, don't
That's not right.
don't say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to a friend. Like, look after yourself and look after your mental health. It's most of the battle with fighting games is your mental.
It's your mental and how you perceive how you decide to digest what's going on as opposed to what's actually happening, and then giving yourself both the credit that you're putting forth the time and effort to play, because this is not an easy genre to play, and
Exactly.
And it's something that I've been trying to do more while being in the Discord. It's just like, there are so many people here that are nice, that are willing to play and willing to help in whatever capacity that they can. And similar to you, percussion was very easy for me.
Yeah.
And as a child, and not that I blame myself for this, I never really I never really found out what that meant. Like, really? Like, okay, this is easy for me because of what? Okay, is this something I can cultivate as a talent? Like, I was a kid, but no one put all that on me. And then I expected a similar situation when I came into fighting games. Before this, I played Smash for 8 years, competitive. I'm like, okay, I have an idea of what I need to do. I'm going to change to other games like Street Fighter, because I have practiced and played up to 4 competitive at the same time, and I had to slow myself down with that. It's a different part.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I got this, or rather, I can get this. And then, I go to my local, and I'm fighting against people who have been playing Tekken since Tekken 6, and that's not realistic for me to. One, it's not realistic for me to believe that because I am, even if I am capable, even if I have the skills, etc., that the end result of how I should take it is I will win. Okay. 2, I'm already setting myself up for the failure by telling myself that, as opposed to learning and growing within the situations that I'm dealing with. That's not the end. The end result shouldn't be something you spoke about earlier. The end result shouldn't be, did I win or did I lose? The end result is, regardless of whatever result was on that screen, did I do something better, or is there something tangible for me to work on so that I can approach the goal of getting better, not making that the end-all be-all of I am winning.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's been very difficult for me, because again, people put hundreds of thousands of hours into, and every fighter has its own transferable skills and shit. But I never really, and I say this now, I never really took a lot of the time to make a practice regimen well for myself in Smash, or to, here's a particular flowchart you may want to look at if you're autopiloting. Like, a lot of this type of stuff, I understood it, but I never really put it into, like, actual practice. I didn't really have to, as much. Yeah. And now I do, and I don't want to say like I'm suffering because of that. It's, everyone's on their own journey, and everyone reaches certain milestones at a different pace, and I shouldn't beat myself up for that. Like, it's okay to be new. It's okay to be like, wow, Tekken really is this sort of game, regardless of what I thought skills would or wouldn't transfer. Putting that into the equation every single time, I'm only looking to defeat myself when I keep putting it up. It's what can I do now? What am I looking at now? And and we both said it. It's difficult. It's not easy to get out of your own head with it. And I'm glad that you, even with all the struggles, of course, on your journey with it, you're in a better spot where you start seeing that in yourself when it happens, and it's like, okay, no, we gotta stop. This is not the way, this is not the path to go down, because it doesn't lead to anything other than darkness, or whatever word you want to use that fits that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good that you can relate to what I said. It's good to hear you sort of talk it out with me, and I feel like that's that's really ultimately what I wanted from this. Pardon me. In quotation marks, mentoring session. Like there's mentors on the server who are very kind of stats focused. Like Shafeen will get you. He's like a database of frames and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. That's not me. Like I'm a decently good Tekken player right now. It's not my skills that I lean on. I wanted to come in here and understand more so the kind of approach you were having to the game, what makes your fighting game journey tick, and kind of just get you to open up about what you think might be causing a lot of the struggles that you're feeling, and you have. And I'm super happy about that because it's allowing me to understand you better, and hopefully at the same time it's allowed you to understand you better.
Yes. It's it's an underrated scenario, and it's an underrated situation when we forget that we're social creatures and always playing something in your head or thinking something out loud. Thinking something out loud is totally different than actually having a conversation with another individual about it. So you've been tremendous with that, and I thank you for, you opened yourself up to taking the time. I know you have, you consider yourself to be, and you are a mentor and such, but if that is a conscious choice you make every time you speak with somebody about it, and I thank you for being open to this.
Oh, more than welcome. Honestly, like it's, before I told you to check my tags and be like, it's okay to, you mentioned like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage or anything like that. It's just like, I'm so pleased that you chose to jump in today and play some Tekken and just kind of like just hash it out. Like it makes me so happy. I'm more than willing to put the time in. Like I'm more than willing to make the time, because you prove to me that you're willing to make the time, which is far more important than me making the time. I appreciate you coming in and chatting with me. I think I don't really have any solid gameplay things for you, aside from the thing that I'm also working on, which is try and shift away from the allure of the risky players and just, they're great and they're wonderful, and the dopamine does hit nice.
Yes.
But try to be a bit more mindful and purposeful with the moves that you're using, when and why, and also what I want you to do is what I said that I do, and what I've done a few times while we were playing just then, is if you're in ranked, or even if you're just in playing with the Boomers or whatever, just force yourself to speak out loud, as long as you're not going to disturb anyone if they're sleeping or anything like that. Mm. Force yourself to speak out loud and say, like, compliment your opponent when they do something good. Yeah. Compliment yourself when you do something good. Like, hype yourself up, be your own hype man. And then, just say, like, oh, that was so sick, like, that was great low parry, that was, like, oh, that was, even, like I said, even if it was just, oh, that was super lucky. Yeah. Like, you don't even have to necessarily compliment their skill. It could just be like, shit happens. Like, sometimes the frames just aren't on your side, or sometimes the connection might glitch out or something like that. It's fine. Like, just roll with it, find the positives. Yep. And I think, like you said, just focus on the micro goals, the small goals, and then if ever you want to jump back in and show me progress or anything like that, like I said, I will be able to pick out the things that you're doing